before you begin, you may wish to find yourself a comfortable, safe space where you know you will not be interrupted, not be interrupted, not be interrupted, not be interrupted, not be interrupted.
Obviously, you work with a lot of business books, don't you? Which is very different, although perhaps not so much. There's definitely crossover with any genre, I'm sure. But why tarot? What is your approach? Do you use tarot? What's your spiritual life look like?
Well, I've always had an interest in like esoterical spirituality, and I've kind of had quite a few experiences of which you've probably heard, some of them spooky and otherwise, but I've just always had a real interest in people, that have that ability to kind of really connect to their intuition and deliver like an amazing reading for someone. And I just like it. I like tarot. I've always kind of, a few of my friends and I have always kind of had our own little decks and done little readings for each other. So when you came along as a potential client, straight away, I just kind of really loved everything you were kind of about, everything you were saying you wanted to do. Yeah. And of course, now it's really weird to be working on business books, but then spiritual at the same time. But then I guess that's me, a spiritual business person. So it's quite a natural, feels quite natural, even if it does look a little bit strange from a distance. I
think it links in though, doesn't it? Because I think so many people are looking for connection and guidance and don't always search other people for it. So to then have a link with spirituality and tarot and things is kind of like it's a good tool.
Definitely. And there could be something else coming that's very much business, tarot, who knows? So yes.
But I mean, I guess the other elements of this as well is art. You're predominantly you were a literary agent. And this is brought that up. So you've got the tarot now, you've got the spirituality in the mix, you've got the business going on, and then you have now an artist on the books.
Which is funny enough, I love art as well. So, I'm fascinated by and all the work you do, Nikki, and just seeing some of that process as well. And everything you do is fascinating. So I just feel like this is potentially, I'm moving in different directions with the agency as well. So who knows where that will lead in the future. But yes, no, it's very exciting to have both of you kind of in this project and kind of to see where it goes. So,
well, they do say, don't they, do what you love.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why my list kind of looks like it does, which is business, because I've always had an interest in business, then tarot, angels even, and art. So there's a it's all coming together. It's almost like I'm manifesting this, this direction with what I love, which is amazing.
Alice and I have said this a lot about this project, and I know we touched on it earlier in this conversation, is that it's felt a bit like the train was in the station, we got on the train, and we're kind of being taken with the train to wherever it wants to go, almost somewhere along for the ride. And, we're doing the work, but it's kind of doing its own thing. And it's almost a bit like that with, you talking about what you're doing as well right now, is that it's kind of, it started off as one thing, and as you're going along and stopping at the station, more things are collecting that you've always had an interest in, and the stuff's growing out of that.
I'm excited to see where things
Can you move forward, Kizzy? You just move forward a little bit. The sound just went a little bit.
Okay. Sorry. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Lovely. I think this is my laptop's playing up today. But never mind. But as long as you can hear me, and we've got that. So yeah.
Yeah, I do think this whole project is a bit of a weird game changer, an unexpected game changer for us three who are within it. It'd be interesting to see how that barrels out to the people who hold the cards, who work with the cards, and who my husband is currently sneaking around very noisily, and who I guess are touched by the cards in some way, how that magic might, you know, carry on through them as well, and people who are in the cards.
Definitely. And I think it would just be interesting to see those stories of how people work with them as well. And, you know, because they aren't just your classic Rider-Waite images, they are very much different every day. I love that everyday grit that you've kind of pulled into it. And this is real life, you know, and how they can apply that to themselves through the cards and through that spirituality, finding the magic in every day.
You see me shuffling.
Yes, I was wondering, I was going to say, pull me a card.
Would you like a card, Kizzy?
Yes, please. Why don't we make it like see what comes out, whatever you think. I was going to say, I have to do this. It's like, I've waited for so long.
I know. And maybe have a think as well about a couple of cards that you'd like to see, because I'm not sure how much of these you've seen, and then we can show you. But first of all, I will pull you a card. Let's see where we're going with you, Kizzy. Okay. Oh, okay. We have the Six of Swords, which is coming out on a loop for loads of people at the minute. And Nikki and I have just recorded another video just before this one, and this card came out again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go straight to the book and see what we have to say about the Six of Swords from within here.
Don't you think though that if it's coming out regularly for all sorts of people, that it feels like it's like that collective consciousness kind of thing that your dad was talking about the other day on his interview that we did with him? And it's kind of, I think we all feel that we're kind of stuck in this limbo land. There's so much stuff going on that we can't actually change out there right now. And we're kind of stuck in this whirlwind vortex of stuff that's affecting us hugely, but we can't change. And it's kind of giving us that feeling of a powerlessness, really.
Yeah. And I do think that cards, in my experience of reading them, they just come out, and they can come out, you know, we call them stalker cards, so they come out repeatedly for the same person, but actually they come out repeatedly for a bunch of clients that I'm reading for, or maybe there's other patterns through, you know, people that I'm connected to as the person with the cards in my hands. We're all going through the same thing, and we all sort of, for whatever reason, for 1 week or 2 weeks, keep getting the same card in different circumstances. But it's just, it almost feels like kind of being homeschooled by the cards as well, as to this card can reflect so many different people's circumstances, and that sitting in the boat situation can be true of a relationship, a career, a health, just general domestic merriment. But I'll read what the meaning from the little guide book is. So, keywords: travel, change, passage, pilgrimage, and the unknown. Imagery: a flamingo character sits in a small boat loaded with boxes as it traverses a body of water. A small round table lies ahead with a lamp, a plant, and other items upon it. Meaning, and I think you're going to feel this, Kizzy, right? You are not where you once were. You have left the familiar and started on a new voyage. Frustratingly, you are not yet at your destination, and the way forward may feel precarious and unknown. You do have plans and hope to guide you, as well as spiritual direction. It may feel difficult, but there is a promise of a new life and/or a new land in the not too distant future. The Six of Swords represents the process of change. It doesn't happen easily or overnight. To get where you want to be, you must surrender to the tides of life. This can feel deeply challenging, and at times you may feel disconnected and afraid. This between space holds purpose. In this limbo, you're encouraged to grow, evolve, and figure some things out about yourself. This inner work and life crafting allows for a softer landing when you eventually meet with the next solid part of your life. When your boat meets land and you can feel purpose and passion again, you'll be better ready to embrace life creatively as a result of the voyage you have taken. So your personal prompt: what can I explore about my current life as I gently move forward? And power affirmation: my tribulations are fodder for my future growth and wisdom.
Amazing. And yeah, that does sound very much where I'm at, as you girls will know. Like, I'm literally thinking about change and where I'm going and what I've learned so far and what my future looks like. So that's really interesting. Really interesting. It's a journey, isn't it? Almost on the boat, and yeah, taking things with you, those boxes, but then be able to say you're unpacking that, and yeah, there's a new
you over overboard.
chuck them over the side. Yeah, I love that. Really nice.
Is there any particular card you'd like to see?
For me, I think the Queen of Pentacles, only because I feel like that's my card.
Okay.
And yeah, being my Capricorn kind of earth sign woman.
Who will find it first?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, me.
I was going to say probably Alice. It takes me ages.
There she is, Queen of Pentacles. Niki, do you want to tell us a bit about this card? Because this was one of your friends in the image, and
yeah, so that's my friend Kush, and that was taken this time last year. Well, it was at Diwali, and she'd gone to her family's house, and she'd got this amazing sari on, and she sent me a picture. I was so excited. And she wanted to be a peacock, and the palm tree was from a holiday that I'd been on. That was just, yeah, seems like a long time ago, especially with these cards being done in lockdown and holidays seeming like a distant memory. And yeah, it just fell together, this image. It was one of those ones that when she sat on the seat, because the seat's in my kitchen, and I placed her on it, it was like she was actually sat in my kitchen. So yeah, it's one of my favorite images.
It's beautiful, and it actually kind of matches my whole vibe in the background. Just all this color and pink and blues. Oh, I love it. It's gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful.
it's definitely very you. I think I've always felt quite aligned with the Queen of Wands, and I think Niki probably does too.
Yeah.
So between us, we have the creativity and the sort of financial acumen kind of stitched up. So perhaps we need to work on our swords and our cups.
I was about to say the Queen of Swords is the energy that I would like a bit more of, that kind of sassy, being able to cut through the rubbish and just stride forward. I could do with a bit more of that energy.
Here she is. Here is the Queen of Swords. That's a hard one to come to, I think, for women in general. We're trained to be kind of nicey nice, aren't we? And there's a lot of undoing to get to this point of sort of boldness, and knowing your own mind in that way. Ferocity, really.
Well, Lexi, who is our Queen of Swords, is also our Queen of Cups, which is like the complete opposite as a character. And she was saying she definitely identifies more with the Queen of Swords than the Queen of Cups.
I'm just trying to find the Queen of Cups. Where are you?
How we kind of identify with cards, and I think the Queen of Pentacles has always felt like my card, but then I definitely like a bit more Queen of Wands. I think I've got a bit of Queen of Swords, I think, when I want to have it. I could probably do
I definitely would say that
communications, not with me, but
but I think you've also got the Queen of Wands, because you help birth projects. So your whole, with your agency, everything that you do is about taking something that is somebody's idea and somebody's beginning, and you breathe life into it, and you enable people to get that project in front of the right people that then can put it out there and put it in other people's hands. So actually, I think you really do have that Queen of Wands energy.
Oh, thanks, Niki. And it's always those things you don't see about yourself. And I can honestly say that obviously, you know, the vibe with us is Queen of Cups. Definitely, we have some of that going on. Wow.
So we have Queen of Cups there. This was actually taken. I went on holiday with my girls and my mom and her partner, actually. So a very feminine-based holiday. We were in Wales, the Devil's Bridge, and it's all kinds of layers of really crazy, intense waterfalls, and you walk around it. It's terrifying walking around that with a small child. You know, you just have all these panic thoughts like she's going to jump in, which of course she's not, but they want to get close, don't they? But yeah, this kind of raging water, and then this woman here, this bareheaded woman again, just very calmly pouring a cup of tea. And I think with the Queen of Cups, it's all of that emotional maturity and the fact that it can be raging and you can feel this depth of emotion, but be quite calm and know how to interact with that emotion, how to source it for meaning, really, and to perhaps override it at times, but also whilst keeping it very much alive, not totally repressing it. So
I just love them all, obviously.
I think it's
Very
interesting
nice.
we've talked about our queens. I feel like we've been working with all of these energies this year in our, you know, collaborations, friendships, work. But yeah.
They look good together, don't they? I know I'm biased, but they do. They look good.
You know, just the whole deck, Nikki, just keep looking through it. And obviously seeing these cards through my phone for the past year and the variety of colours, but you've somehow made them all, there's real cohesion, even though the colours are like mega and all over the place, but they're not. And I don't know how you've done that.
I think that I'm
magical.
obsessed with colourful things. So colourful, shiny things.
You kept
Like
them all,
a
the colours are like all kind of, there's all the colours in there, but they're all complementary. Like,
I think it's because
bother.
we've gone bright with them. And I think it's because, again, it's because I made all the images. So we've collected all the images together, but then I put them all together and created the images. Therefore, I think because you're using one person to do that, you get a cohesion with it and you've got the language going through it because it's born of my brain, I suppose.
It's like the colours of the inside of your brain.
Yeah,
and I guess when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking like the pinks are all the similar kind of pinks and the purples are all the similar kind of purple and the blues, they all sit, and there's so many colours on the spectrum. You know, you sort of have your kids telling you about what the rainbow colours are. You think, gosh, that's not very many. But then you look at these and you think, but there's so much variety within that. And I guess you're going to be pulled to certain favourites or ones that fit comfortably with you.
I definitely tend to go with the brighter, more sherbety colours than the grey toned colours. So I tend to go with the light side, I suppose. I do love a deep kind of flat black colour and the odd grey, because I think it helps other colours pop out of it. But yeah, I have a bit of an obsession with colour, to be fair. Yeah. And I suppose if you looked at it on an Instagram, if you look at the Instagram things where you can choose, you can go at the bottom, can't you, and choose the filters that you stick over the images.
Yeah.
The one I always go for if I do need to adjust them is Clarendon, which has a bluer tint to things. So it kind of tends to put in, I think you've got Sierra, haven't you, which kind of gives a more yellow tint. But I always go
like
Clarendon
Paris because it brightens things.
Yeah.
Makes whites look whiter. But you know what? What are you going to do when other people start putting filters on your cards?
Just don't make them too yellow. I love yellow, but I like the bright yellow. Well, they're there for people to do what they want with them, aren't they? They are, I've got my deck here. That is mine. I've got the original artwork. And then what people do with them when they go out there is up to them. And I think that's, again, what is so lovely. And I can't wait to see is other people getting them in their hands and kind of responding to them, reflecting with them, taking them out on adventures, seeing what people think, getting feedback, seeing people using them wherever. And just, I can't wait to see that. I really can't wait to see that.
That is one of the pleasures of some of, my books, my cards in the past, is that they're definitely more well-traveled than me, and they've been all over the world. And it's kind of like, a little tiny part of myself has gone to Australia and all kinds of interesting places that I've never been in real life.
Yeah, you kind of let them, you let them out into the world, don't you? And then it's for other people to do whatever with, and we just have to sit there and kind of go, look where they've ended up now. Yeah, it is. And other people bring in their, you know, that whole conversation you said about the cards where, you know, we bring our own stuff to them. It's the same with artwork. You know, we bring our own baggage to things that we look at, and how we interpret something isn't the same as how somebody else will, or how they were intended to be interpreted. But I love that. And I think that's something about tarot, is that it holds our stories in here. It also holds traditional stories within them from where they started, but also it's open to everybody else's stories kind of, and they'll take all of that on their shoulders. They're broad shoulders for that.
Kizzy, before we wrap up, do you have any questions or reflections for us?
Well, I think just, you know, thinking about everything you were just saying, Niki, and about the traveling of the cards, and, you know, knowing that they will be internationally released is really amazing. Just thinking about someone sitting in Japan, or, you know, somewhere else, completely other side of the world, Australia, doing their thing with the cards. I mean, it's like travel, isn't it? It's going around the world. And I think that's really exciting. I'm so looking forward to seeing, you know, how those stories unfold. And, you know, yeah, I'm just kind of sitting back and looking forward to seeing what happens. But yeah, and I guess for you guys, it must have been a real moment to have those cards in your hands, and just even the postbox video. I mean, I love your postbox, Niki, but, you know, it's just such an anticipation, and to see and feel the end result must be amazing. How did you both feel, you know, holding that in your hands, like this amazing deck?
It was a very bottom for Alice. You know, she had never held the cards, any of the images. So all the images had just been sent to her via my phone on our WhatsApp group. So Alice had never seen them. So for her to have them in her hand, it was big enough for me to have them in my hands, and I was just blown away and so excited. It was ridiculous. But for Alice, you know, yeah, it was that thing of actually, oh, that's the image I've only ever seen on my phone, and she got to hold them in her hands. Amazing.
Yeah, and there's nothing quite like having them in your hands, like even having, you know, the sort of stock images from the publisher where you've got like all the cups or all the, it's not the same at all as having them all and being able to shuffle them and then looking at them as a big mess and kind of like, wow, you know, this is so perfect. And I think just the thought as well, just that we've been talking about here of them going out other places. Now, as a tarot reader and having had loads of decks myself of that other people have created, you know what's wonderful about tarot that's completely different than books is that when you have a deck of tarot, they're yours. You know, it doesn't matter who's created them, when they were created, they're yours, and they become imbued with your passion, your meaning, your life, in the way that a book doesn't. So a book, you might read it, love it, put it on the shelf, tell all your friends, maybe read it again at some point if you're really passionate about it. Tarot cards become part of your fabric, especially, you know, if you're passionate about them, and they become part of your memories, and you use them over and over and over and over and over again. And that is actually quite an exciting prospect, thinking about other people having their experiences with our cards, even if they want to put gross yellow filters on. It's cool, baby.
That's the thing, isn't it? Once you have this deck, you're not going to say to your friends, oh, you can have this deck when I'm finished with it.
No.
You know, this is something for life. You know, this is something for your collection, you know, that becomes exactly what you said, part of the fabric of your life and your own journey through life. And yeah, so yeah, no, thank you guys. Well, thank you for today. It's been so nice to see more close-ups of the beautiful cards and creation.
It's been lovely to see your face as well, because usually it's just voicemail messages, isn't it? So it's really nice to see you.
Yes, and we will meet in person, Niki, as well. And it's been so long, yeah, Alice, since we met in person. So the three of us definitely need to get together.
Something's going to happen, Kizzy. Mark my words and Nikki's words. We were talking about this the other day. We were saying, we just, like, obviously the cards are out now, they're doing their thing. Something will come that will drag us all into a room together and potentially feed us at the same time. That would be good. Let's add that to the list of things that need required of this event where we come together.
I'll be so excited. this whole project, none of us have met.
I've met Kizzy.
Oh, okay.
I keep saying once,
Just the
but
once.
we're not in the friendship that we are now. It was very professional, kind of like we didn't really know each other, and we went into that amazing office. But yeah,
Oh, I know.
but I feel like it will be a re-meeting.
Because yeah, this whole project has been done. It is a moment of time, isn't it, where it was born out of a pandemic, where we were in lockdown, and you know, just like the oddest circumstances. But it's just also, look what can be created in the weirdest circumstances without, because previous to this, we would have thought, oh, there's no way we could have done this had we not been able to get in a room together, sit down with images together, talk things over, had meetings face to face with you, Kizzy, had meetings face to face with the publishers. None of that would have felt possible. But out of lockdown, it kind of tipped everything upside down. And yeah, look what has been created. It's bonkers.
Yeah, and I guess that's the human spirit, isn't it? That we continue to want to create and do and evolve, even in spite of all, you know, reasons why we shouldn't or can't or didn't think we could. It's very cool. All right then, ladies, shall we wrap things up? So thank you everybody for watching this Rebel Heart Tarot interview with Kizzy Thomson, literary agent extraordinaire.
Yes.
Yeah, myself, Alice Grist, and Niki Cotton. Please do subscribe and go check out our other videos where we'll be talking with people in the cards about all kinds of creative and divine phenomenon and doing weekly readings. So please subscribe. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.